Hey, I'm Bill DeVille, and we're here with Hayes Carll. Nice to see you, Hayes.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while since September at Americana Fest. It was fun chatting with you at that first night's party.
Yeah.
So here we are. You got 10 albums under your belt. How does that feel? When you started out, did you ever dream you'd make 10 albums?
Yeah, it feels pretty surreal, really. Time flies, but
Yeah.
I still feel like that kid who was just excited to be around music and hoping to write a decent song. So yeah, when I look at 10 records, it's kind of hard to comprehend.
Yeah. Well, the 10th one is called We're Only Human. What can you tell us about the record? I personally think it's one of the best records you've ever made. There's a lot of good songs on it, a lot of sad ones, and there's some fun ones too. And I thought you made a winner.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, it was sort of the result of I've just been, like I'm sure most people have, my struggles in life, and I never seemed to be able to fix them or correct them, or wasn't making any changes. And so I just got tired of having the same conversations with myself over and over, and was trying to figure out a way to live with a little more ease and contentment.
Did you find it?
I'm a work in progress.
Yeah.
But it felt important to me, and so that personal work sort of blended into the creative work, and that became kind of the thing that was most interesting to me to write about was sort of codifying these lessons I was learning from myself, or things that worked for me or didn't, or reminders, and turning them into songs. And so that was sort of the genesis of the record, and the theme behind it. It's just about grace for yourself and others, and trying to settle in and get a little stillness, and not give up on your own spirit.
It seems more introspective and personal than some of your other albums. Is that true, do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the first time I really wrote a record with intention. In the past, I've always just write songs, and each one can come from its own place, and some of them are observational, some of them are life experience, some of them are just made up word games that turn into something. And
yeah.
This was the first time where I kind of set out with this idea that I knew what I was trying to accomplish, and it was very gratifying to do that work and then to get there.
Yeah. What can you tell me about the title track, We're Only Human? I was struck by that one.
Yeah, that's I think I've expected myself to have life figured out, or for some reason, I don't know why I thought I was supposed to. And it started to become very clear to me that I didn't, and that I was struggling. And as I sat down to try and do some of that work and figure out where I was going wrong, I felt a lot of shame, a lot of sadness and regret, and I didn't want to live in that place. I wanted to acknowledge it, but I didn't want to live in it. And so it required kind of giving myself some grace for not being perfect, for being flawed, and then I started thinking about that we're all going through that experience. It's this universal thing of life, and maybe it's important for me to have grace for others, and especially if I would hope that they would have that for me. I'm asking for that grace that maybe I needed to start with myself and give it to others. And so that became the idea, was we're all going through this trip. It's not easy. There's no guidebook for it. Yeah. And maybe we can all relate on that level, that this is a challenge, and let's have some grace for ourselves and each other.
And another song, Progress of Man, Bitcoin and Cattle.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that one?
That was sort of an outlier on this record, in that most of the record is about stillness and grace and following your soul. And this one was just sort of my little protest to the state of the world these days. It's it's hard to navigate life without being bombarded by everybody's opinions and instructions and judgments and information, and everybody's an expert, and they feel entitled seemingly to shout their advice to you, and it all can just be overwhelming to me. Yeah. So this was my just kind of throwing it back out there and trying to reestablish that I can live without it and be the center of my own judgment and before I let all that noise in.
Are you a Bitcoin guy?
No, I wish. I have a buddy who my friend Corblund.
Canadian guy.
Canadian, yeah.
I like Corb. He's awesome. You guys have toured a lot over the years, haven't you?
Yeah, we've done a lot of tours and done a lot of work together, and it's one of my best friends. And he got into that fairly early, and he gave a Bitcoin many years ago as a wedding gift to a couple, and the bride was very unimpressed. And she was actually angry. She's like, what are we going to do with this worthless piece of imaginary whatever? And I think the value was like $400 at the time. But they held on to it. And now the word is they're going to remodel their house.
With the proceeds?
They're going to sell it and do a remodel. And so it turned into the best wedding gift.
Yeah. So you lost a friend a while ago, Rex. And Rex founded that place called the Old Quarter in Houston. First, tell us about Rex. And the Old Quarter, that place is so legendary. I know I have that Townes Van Zandt album that was recorded live there.
Yeah.
And, where you hear how hot it was, and they didn't want to run the air conditioner because it was too loud to record when it was playing. Yeah. So tell us about Rex and the Old Quarter in Houston.
Well, so Rex Bell, and he spelled it W-R-E-C-K-S. That was just his sense of humor.
Yeah.
And was a bass player, and he played with Townes Van Zandt for many years. He also played with Lightning Hopkins, Lucinda. And it was just this very colorful character. And he co-owned the Old Quarter in Houston, where Townes made that live record. And then sold his stake, and he moved down to the beach in Galveston, Texas, on the island, and opened up the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe. And it was just a 70-seat folk club. And
did you volunteer there and stuff too?
Oh, yeah. I stumbled in there one night on accident during an open mic night, and it changed my life in like every way, because I was just playing covers 4 hours a night, 6 nights a week on the beach for these dive bars, but there was nowhere I could play my own songs. And I walked into this place, and they encouraged you to play your own songs. And on the weekends, touring acts would come through, like Ray Wiley Hubbard or Steve Young or Vince Bell or Steve Fromholtz or Willis Allen Ramsey. And all these like masters would come through. And so it became my school, my church, my home. And Rex and I were very, very close for a number of years. And everything that kind of came out of my career came from that place. Mm-hmm. A lot of those acts started taking me out on the road and showed me that you could make a life doing this. So I had no idea. And so it was a hugely important spot to me. And it was sad news when Rex passed earlier in the month.
Yeah. And we lost Todd Snyder.
Yeah.
You guys were pretty close. I know that he did your Stomp and Holler with the Hardworking Americans, and he appeared on the K-Mag Yo-Yo album.
Yeah. Yeah, Todd, this has been a tough one. It's tough. A tough loss. Like with Rex, I knew it was coming, and that was hard in a lot of ways, but Todd has been even tougher. He was my hero.
Yeah.
And I'm not alone in saying that. I know it's been really moving to watch all the tributes and the stories come out, and he was such a singular figure, and kind of showed us all that it was. I think we all admired his artistic integrity and the way he lived his life. It wasn't always pretty. It was often messy, but he did his own thing, and he showed the rest of us that it's okay to do that you can do that. And it's a tough thing to be in this world, to be unique, to be uniquely yourself. And as an artist, as a performer, in the studio, and just in life, he was just always that. And it was amazing and magical to watch. So yeah, it's been tough. I've known Todd for 23 years.
Seems like everybody has a story about him. You must have a good kind of funny story somewhere about him, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of time the last few days just laughing with friends, telling Todd stories. One of my favorites was I used to throw a songwriter festival down on the beach, and I had a very limited budget, and it was just all self-done. And I called Todd's agent, who was been my agent now for the last 15 years, but this was before I was working with them. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
what does Todd cost? And they gave me a number, and it was like much more than I could afford.
Right.
And so I did what you're not supposed to do. And I emailed Todd directly and said, here's my situation, man. Anything you can do. And he said, if you'll give me a golf cart with my name on it and an ounce of weed, I'll come play. And so he and Elvis, his tour manager at the time, flew from Nashville to Houston, rented a car, drove 2 hours, came down, and we had a golf cart that said Todd Snyder Rules on it, and handed him an ounce of weed. And, you know, he lost a bunch of money to come down there and do that, and then put on the most incredible show under really challenging circumstances. And I don't think I have anybody else that would do that. And just, yeah, countless ones, some much more bizarre ones and funny ones. And, but that told me a lot about him and what was important to him.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. That sounds. I had never met him, but I did see him, you know, many times over the years. The last time I saw him was he opened up for John Prine in 2019 here in the Twin Cities, and he had his dog side stage.
Yeah,
yeah, and it was he duetted a little bit, sang with John, and it was a great night.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He was a link to a lot of those guys. Prine and Christopherson and
Jerry
Billy
Jeff.
Joe Shaver and Jerry Jeff Walker and Jimmy Buffett and, you know, so many of my heroes. And it was always special to me when Todd would tell me advice that Christopherson gave him or something that Prine said or did. And that was a link to me to this other generation of heroes. And now, and Todd was very much a major hero for me. He was a friend, but more than anything, and long before that, he was just somebody I so admired and respected as an artist.
Yeah, guy who plenty of songs that could make you laugh, and quite a few that could make you cry too.
Yeah, he had it all, and was always pushing himself musically, like trying to find something interesting for himself. And then every performance was its own unique thing, and in the studio and in person, like he was always just going for that moment, and he wasn't about going back and making it perfect. He just captured the thing. So if you're in the studio with him, a lot of times it was just roll the tape, keep it rolling, and when he feels it, he'll go do it. And a lot of times make up words on the spot. And but being at a live Todd show was, even if he was repeating some of the stories, it was, each thing was unique, and wherever his mood was and his intention, that's what you got. And it was as far from unpolished as and as real as you can get.
Mm-hmm. All right, last question. A guy like you has played a lot of gigs over the years. What's the weirdest gig you ever played?
Oh, man.
One of the weirdest gigs you played.
I mean, yeah, I've had some weird shows over the years, but I think the strangest one to me was I was in California, and Mike Nesmith from the Monkees used to have this thing out there, like an office building in a strip mall, and he was real into Second Life, you know, where it was an online thing where you had an avatar and you had a whole world, and you could have a job and date people and have money and go around this digital world. And he was really into it, and he set up a honky tonk inside this digital world, and I played it. And so it entailed that we're in this strip mall in this building, and with Mike Nesmith, who I was a huge fan of the Monkees growing up, and so that was just surreal. And then we stand in front of a green screen with my full band, and we play, and it's being broadcast live on KPIG radio. And then he pulls down a screen in front of us, a projector screen, to show us this online world. And everybody that's online is an avatar. So they're flamingos and pigs and giraffes, and that's my audience.
Yeah.
And so when we play, he told me the way they applaud is they spin and do pirouettes. And so we would just finish this loud rock song, and it would be silence, and then all these avatars would be spinning around, and Mike Nesmith from the Monkees is standing there, and we're live on air. And then the final straw was people could type in comments, and I had upset some guy in Texas, a festival promoter, a few months earlier, and so he joined the party and started trash talking me in the comments section. It was just too much of an overload. There's so many different things happening, and I think that was maybe my weirdest gig.
Sounds pretty weird.
Yeah.
Hayes, thanks so much for coming by. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
It's Hayes Carll. New album is called We're Only Human. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The Current is public media made possible thanks to member support.